everyone. My name is Kim. I'm going to read lines from Act 4, Scene 2. This is after the whole incident with Marjorie in disguise dressed as her brother. She meets with Horner. They step away for a moment. Pinchwife goes crazy, wants to know what's going on. So the scene starts in the bedchamber. I'm going to start reading at line 34. Pinchwife: but you told me he did some beastliness to you, as you called it. What was it? Marjorie: why he put... Pinchwife: what? Marjorie: why he put the tip of his tongue between my lips and so muzzled me, and I said I'd bite it. Pinchwife: an eternal canker seize it for a dog. Marjorie: nay, you said not be... You need not be so angry with him neither, for to say the truth, he has the sweetest breath I ever knew. Pinchwife: the devil! You were satisfied with it then, and would do it again? Marjorie: not unless he should force me. Pinchwife: force you? Changeling! I tell you, no woman can be forced. Marjorie: yes, but she may sure by such a one as he, for he's a proper, goodly, strong man. 'Tis hard, let me tell you, to resist him. Pinchwife aside: so 'tis plain she loves him, yet she has not love enough to make her conceal it from me, but the sight of him will increase her aversion for me and love for him, and that love instruct her how to deceive me and satisfy him. All idiot as she is, love, 'twas he gave women first their craft, their art of deluding. Out of nature's hands they came plain, open and silly, and fit for slaves, and she and heaven intended him, but damned love. Well, I must strangle that little monster whilst I can deal with him. Go fetch pen, ink, and paper out of the next room. Marjorie: yes, bud. Marjorie exits. Pinchwife: why should women have more invention in love than men? It can only be because they have more desires, more soliciting passions, more lust, and more of the devil. Marjorie returns. Come, Minx, sit down and write. Marjorie: I, dear bud, but I can't do it very well. Pinchwife: I wish you could not at all. Pinchwife: but what should I write for? Marjorie: but what should I write for? Pinchwife: I'll have you write a letter to your lover. Marjorie: oh Lord, to the fine gentleman a letter? Pinchwife: yes, to the fine gentleman. Marjorie: Lord, you do but jeer. Sure you jest. Pinchwife: I am not so merry. Come right as I bid you. Marjorie: what do you think, I am a fool? Pinchwife aside: she's afraid I would not dictate any love to him, therefore she's unwilling. But you had best begin. Marjorie: indeed and indeed, but I won't, so I won't. Pinchwife: why? Marjorie: because he's in town. You may send for him if you will. Pinchwife: very well. You would have him brought to you. Is it come to this? I say take the pen and write, or you'll provoke me. Marjorie: Lord, what do you make a fool of me for? Don't I know that letters are never writ from the country to London and from London into the country? Now he's in town, and I'm in town too. Therefore, I can't write to him, you know. Pinchwife aside: so I am glad it is no worse. She is innocent enough yet. Yes, you may when your husband bids you to write letters to people that are in town. Marjorie: oh, may I so? Then I am satisfied. Pinchwife: come begin. Dictates: sir. Marjorie: shan't I say dear sir? You know, one says always something more than bare sir. Pinchwife: write as I bid you, or I will write whore with this penknife in your face. Marjorie: nay, good bud. She writes, sir. Pinchwife: though I suffered last night with your nauseous and loath kisses and embraces, write. Marjorie: nay, why should I say so? You know I told you he had a sweet breath. Pinchwife: writes. Marjorie: let me put out loath. Pinchwife: write, I say. Marjorie: well then, writes. Pinchwife: let's see what you have writ. Takes the paper and reads. Though I suffer last night your kisses and embraces, though thou impudent creature, where is nauseous and loath? Marjorie: I can't abide to write such filthy words. Pinchwife holds a penknife. Once more, write as I'd have you, and question it not, or I will spoil thy writing with this. I will stab out those eyes that cause my mischief. Marjorie: oh Lord, I will. Writes. Pinchwife: so, let's see now. Reads. Though I suffered last night your nauseous, loath kisses and embraces, go on, yet I would not have you presume that you shall ever repeat them. So, she writes. Marjorie: I have writ it. Pinchwife: on then. I then concealed myself from your knowledge to avoid your insolencies. She writes. Okay, I'm going to end it there so that I can talk a little bit about it. Things that stood out to me in this passage are the fact that Marjorie is so naive, and she just is so willing to hop from one husband to another. And I think that comes with her silliness and the fact that she's unknowing of how this culture in that time went about business. For instance, on line 41, she says, "Nay, you need not be so angry with him neither, for to say the truth, he has the sweetest breath I ever knew." This is not something that you say to your husband. You're not going to say that when a man stuck his tongue in between your lips, that his breath was really sweet. But since she's so naive, she just wants to be honest, and she doesn't think that anything's gonna come from it necessarily. Something else that stood out to me is the fact that Pinchwife, on line 63, he said, "Why should women have more invention in love than men? It can only be because they have more desires, more soliciting passions, more lust, and more of the devil." I think that he just associates women with negative attributes. And earlier in the play, it might have even been in the first scene, Pinchwife is described as a whore master. So clearly he's been around the block and he knows what he's doing, and he knows that women have this way of conducting themselves, and he's comparing them to the devil. He has no respect for women, clearly. And this sets up the next part of the scene. And this was something, while I was reading it the first time, I was like, oh, damn, like it's getting intense. So on line 99, he says, "Write as I bid you, or I will write whore with this penknife in your face." Wow. What? You're gonna write whore in my face with the penknife? You're pretty crazy. I think this says a lot about Pinchwife's mentality on how he treats women and how like delusional he is, the fact that he has no respect for women, and the fact that he's willing to harm his own wife. He goes on later to say that he will stab out those eyes that cause my mischief. So he's basically saying that he's going to stab her eyes out because that's what she's using to look at other men. She found out someone's interested in her, and she's willing to take the risk and leave her husband behind. The final thing that I want to say about this is that this whole libertine mentality or trend culture that was happening in those days when this play was written, it seems like it's very free. Everyone is all about money and sex and plays and everything's all fine and dandy. But for some reason, women don't have that same privilege. They don't have the freedom to do that. And they may have the freedom to do that, but they are never free from judgment. And that's something that has transcended into our generation 200 plus years later. So that's just something to think about. I hope you guys enjoyed my dramatic reading.